It's 7 o'clock and I call this public hearing to order. I would like to recognize and appreciate that we are holding this hearing within the traditional territories of the Tashot and Huipachesset First Nations. My name is Tanya Shannon. I am the director for the Beaufort electoral area. I'd like to introduce you to ACRD planning staff, Mike Erg, who's in the boardroom today, manager of planning development, and Kathy MacArthur, also zooming in here, planning assistant for the planning department. This hearing is being held electronically using Zoom. It's being recorded and is live streaming on our website. Would staff please provide direction and instruction on how to participate in this hearing?
Thank you, Director Shannon. First of all, I would like to thank you for participating in this electronic public hearing. If you are watching the live stream on the website and wish to join the meeting, the details on how to connect can be found in the Zoom meeting invite document linked to the public hearing page. We want to start off by highlighting some of the tools in Zoom that will help you participate and talk about our process, which will keep the hearing running smoothly. If participating online, you have the option to turn on or off your video and mute or unmute your audio so that other meeting participants can see you and hear you. The controls are in the bottom left of your screen on a computer or top right on a tablet or smartphone. Please keep your audio muted at all times unless you're going to speak. This will reduce the background noise, which can make it hard for everyone to hear the presentations. There will be an opportunity to speak after staff introduce the application and the applicants provide comments on their proposal. When the chair calls upon any member of the public to comment on the bylaw, we ask that you either put your hand up or call out that you would like to speak. Once you have been recognized by the chair or by staff, we ask that you state your name and address and followed by your questions or comments. There is a chat feature accessed from the controls on your screen if you would like to make a comment or ask a question at any time. All comments will be addressed by staff during the public hearing, so feel free to add anything you would like to have considered as we move along. These comments will be brought forward when the chair asks for public comments. There will also be a final opportunity prior to the end of the hearing to ask any final questions or make any comments on the rezoning bylaw. Finally, I want to note again that this public hearing is being live streamed on the ACRD website, and a recording of the meeting will be publicly available. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the subject of this hearing is bylaws P1450 and P1467. These bylaws are applicable to 8102 Welham Road and are necessary to facilitate the development of up to 4 cottages. If you have questions or comments about any other unrelated topic, I ask that you contact Regional District staff after this hearing has been terminated. Would staff now read out the notice of public hearing, please?
Thank you. And bear with me, everyone. It's a bit of a mouthful to read out here. This is the public hearing for bylaws P1450 and P1467 for 8102 Welham Road, Fred Boyco, property owner. When? October 19th, 2022 at 7 p.m. and where? Electronic and call-in a public attendance only. Please see below for information. What is it about? A public hearing for residents and property owners within electoral area B, Beaufort, will be held to consider bylaws P1450 and 1467. Bylaw P1450 is a zoning text amendment, and P1467 is a zoning atlas amendment to rezone Lot 8, District Lot 116, Alberni District Plan 8822, except part in Plan VIP 86640 from Rural A2 District and Cottage Residential 1 ARC1 District to facilitate the development of up to 4 cottages. How can I learn more? The public hearing will be held by the Director for Electoral Area B, the alternate director, or the chairperson of the regional district. The board resolution making this delegation, along with bylaws P1450 and P1467 and relevant background documents, is available for review online at www.acrd.bc.ca/events/19-10-2022/. Planning staff are available to answer questions in person, through email, or by phone during normal office hours, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., Monday through Friday from October 5th, 2022 to October 19th, 2022, excluding statutory holidays. How can I provide input? Providing an Opportunity for public input is a top priority for the ACRD. Consider written submissions as an effective means to do so. Anyone who feels their interest in property will be affected by the proposed bylaw will be afforded a reasonable opportunity to be heard. Options include participating in the public hearing by electronic means using Zoom video conferencing or teleconferencing and or submitting correspondence to the ACRD. If you wish to participate in the public hearing electronically or by phone, full instructions to do so are available on your website at www.acrd.bc.ca/events/19-10-2022/ or can be provided by contact planning staff by email at planning@acrd.bc.ca or by phone at 250-720-2700. This public hearing will be recorded and live streamed on our website. Written correspondence can be submitted to the ACRD by one of the following methods: hard copy delivered to the ACRD in person, in the drop slot, or by mail to the planning department at the address below. Email sent to planning@acrd.bc.ca before 4 p.m. October 19th, 2022. Email correspondence will only be considered received if receipt confirmation is provided by ACRD staff. Fax sent to 250-723-1327 before 4 p.m. October 19th, 2022. Fax correspondence will only be considered received if receipt confirmation is provided by ACRD staff. All correspondence must be received by the ACRD no earlier than 8 a.m. on October 5th, 2022, and no later than 4 p.m. on October 19th, 2022. Correspondence submitted and or received outside of these parameters will not be included in the public hearing. Who do I contact if I have questions? Planning Department, Regional District of Alberta, Lakewood, 3008 Fifth Avenue, Port Alberni, BC, B9Y2E3. Telephone 250-720-2700. Fax 250-723-1327. Email planning@acrd.bc.ca. Date of notice October 5th, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. The purpose of a public hearing is to receive input, written and verbal, from any person who believes that their interest in property is affected by the bylaws. The regional board will receive full minutes of this hearing before voting on the bylaws. Staff is taking minutes that summarizes the issues raised. Please speak clearly to ensure accuracy. Would staff please introduce the proposal?
Thank you. I will introduce the proposal and run through the agency comments. So first of all, the agency comments and public correspondence. The agency referral responses received noted that their interests were unaffected or recommended that the rezoning application be approved subject to conditions outlined in the responses. The one referral response that I want to highlight is the response from Island Health. They noted that servicing multiple dwellings from a single water source will need to meet the requirements of the Drinking Water Protection Act, and all infrastructure will require a construction permit issued by a public health engineer. If the cottage development proceeds, this would be regulated at the building permit stage. A copy of the agency referral responses is available for public review on the ACRD website and will be part of the public hearing report considered by the board. There were 4 letters of correspondence received from the public ahead of the public hearing, each noting concerns and expressing general opposition to the rezoning. Copies of the letters are available for public review on the ACRD website and will be part of the public hearing report considered by the board. With respect to the applicant's proposal, the property owner is applying to rezone a plus or minus 2.3 hectare or 5.7 acre portion of the entire property, which is approximately 6.7 hectares or 16.67 acres. Property located outside of the agricultural land reserve from rural A2 district to acreage cottage residential 1 ARC, ARC1 to facilitate the development of up to 4 cottages, each between 350 and 750 square feet in size, alongside the existing single-family dwelling and accessory buildings. The cottages will be located 50 feet or more from the property boundary and will be screened from the neighboring property by trees. So, Kathy, if you could just share the screen, I'd just like to highlight, we've got a map that just I want to clarify for everybody exactly which portion of the property is being rezoned and which will stay in the rural zone. So this property is partially in the ALR and partially outside the ALR. The portion outside the ALR is the portion that's being zoned. So that's marked on this map is area to be rezoned from A2 to ARC1, approximately 22,940 square meters there. So that's just want to clarify the hatched area on the left of the property or to the west is the portion of the property that is in the ALR. And Kathy, if you could just share the other map is just an air photo of the property in the surrounding area, just to highlight that for people's information. Again, just highlights the area. There is a small pond on the area. The proposed cabins will be located well away from that as well. And you can see where the access comes from Wellhead Road. Goes by the neighboring property and then directly onto the property where the area is proposed to be rezoned. Thank you, Kathy. And if people have questions later on, we can bring those maps up later as well. So again, this rezoning application only applies to the eastern 5.7 acre portion or 2.3 hectares of the property located outside of the ALR. No land would be removed from the ALR, and the proposed cottage development would be located on land outside of the ALR. The subject property map that was included in the public hearing notice points to the ALR portion of the property, while the area to be rezoned is actually the non-ALR eastern portion of this lot. And our apologies for any confusion that this has caused. With respect to sewage disposal, to support their application, the applicants have engaged a registered on-site wastewater practitioner who has assessed the property and has provided a report confirming that the property has suitable area and soil conditions for a primary and reserve sewage system in compliance with the applicable regulations and the applicable standards of practice. This report is available for viewing on the HRD website. With respect to water supply, the applicants have engaged an engineering firm to assess the capacity for providing adequate water supply to the 4 cottages and to design a private water system in accordance with island health regulations. If any additional information other than support is provided from the professional engineer assessing the water supply and distribution, staff will advise the boards on next steps, which could include delegating a second public hearing or amending the bylaw. So that's if there is concerns or issues providing water supply. With respect to agritourism accommodations and the ALR, just want to highlight a couple of things regarding the Agricultural Land Commission legislation that do apply to the ALR portion of this property. And I want to highlight that the Agricultural Land Commission has policies relating to agritourism and agritourism accommodation that would allow for up to 10 sleeping units on land within the ALR where the accommodation supports an agritourism use on the land that has farm status within BC. Has farm status within BC assessment and meeting criteria provided within the ALC policy. The agritourism accommodation uses are proposed to be included. Those agritourism accommodation uses are proposed to be included in the updated zoning bylaw. So just I wanted to highlight that as this use is not in the ALR, that property currently doesn't have farm status, but that is something these types of uses and agritourism accommodation uses are something that is contemplated by the Agricultural Land Commission and is allowed where people meet the criteria. So that's it for my summation, Director Shannon, and I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, thank you. Would the applicant like to add anything?
Yes, thank you, Director Shannon. So with response to the 4 letters that we have received, we've combined some of the themes that are fairly common amongst themselves. So I got about 7 topics I'd like to address here. First thing is ALR. The map posted in the Pearl-Berry newspaper and at the property basically have the arrow pointing to the center of the property, which is in the ALR, and that is not the area that will be rezoned. So there's no change in ALR property period. This rezoning will take place on the east side of the property that is non-ALR and currently is wooded with second growth cedar and fir. The cottages will be placed in this wooded area are to offer a secluded private environment. Most, if not all, of the development will not be visible from outside of the property itself. With regard to fire and fire protection, currently our property has fire protection coverage from the Beaver Creek Volunteer Fire Department. If there is a fire, they will take time to get there and have limited water on board the trucks when they arrive. The nearest hydrant is several hundred meters down Cameron Road. That is why we've already installed a 3,000-gallon water tank for our own firefighting sprinklers and to supply the fire trucks when they show up. We will plan to have a similar tank and firefighting truck connection system for the cottage area. During the summer fire season, we also install rooftop sprinklers on our house and around our property, and we would have a similar system set up for the cottages as well. There will be no wood fire pits available for any of the tenants or guests, but rather potentially a propane fire pit on a timer. That would be all for fire. Traffic. Traffic is an understandable concern. Our guests would be made aware of the narrow road going to our property and the caution they should exercise coming there. We will do our best to stagger check-in times for limited traffic arrival, as well as the occupation numbers. We kept a maximum of 4 per people per cabin, probably less, which could be 1 to 2 vehicles per cabin occupancy. While this will increase traffic on Wilhelm and Cameron Road, we will ensure that tenants are aware of the safety and care needed to enter Cameron Wilhelm Road. There's also a lot of horses on Cameron Road, so make sure that people are well versed in how to pass a horse and not to startle them. There may be potential increased need for signage of speed limits, no through roads, etc., that currently exist on the other side of Wilhelm Road. These may be required, and we will pay for them. There's currently some local residents that move at a fairly good speed already on our roads. There's also many young children living now in the area up and down Cameron and Wilhelm Road that will be driving within the next 5 to 10 years, adding to the current traffic load that exists already. Guests will be provided with high quality maps before arrival to ensure they're not driving down the neighbors' driveways, which some delivery people do already. Signs may also be posted to make sure people go to the right place. Septic fields. Test pits were dug this Monday, October 17th, with a registered on-site practitioner. 2 locations were selected for the potential field. The report has now been filed with the ACRD. This septic system is designed to meet all BC Sewerage Septic Standard Practice Manuals version 3. Water supply to the cottages. So we are currently working with McElhaney Engineering, the hydrogeologist, to design an on-site water system that will meet island health requirements. The current well for the house produces more than enough water for our house year-round, even in the dry season we're at right now. A second well may be required. This testing and water system design is currently ongoing and should be completed within the next 2 to 3 weeks. The system will most likely consist of additional storage tanks, pressure tanks, submersible pumps, sediment charcoal, and UV filtration systems. Environmental concerns. So some of the letters noted fish-bearing streams and things like this, but where these cottages are going, there is no riparian areas and no fish-bearing streams in proximity to the cabin's proposal at the front/east side of the property. Noise. We will plan to implement a no tolerance policy on noise from the tenants. We don't want parties or events. We were looking to interest fishermen, work crews, island health, nurse placement type people, and accommodate the many tourists that pass through this area. This will not be developed as a recreational use property to discourage gatherings. There will be no trailer or RV storage offered. We will not be selling this area as a recreational getaway rather than a place to stay for the night in close proximity to fishing and hiking destinations. People won't be walking around doing hiking trails in the area. We also enjoy our rural lifestyle and will take great care to preserve that while following our dream of offering accommodations in the Alberta Valley. For accommodation guests, we also take great care and attention to who we allow to rent to preserve our quiet lifestyle and our neighbors as well. Our house will be approximately 100 meters away from the closest potential cabin site, and any noise will be detrimental to us as well. We'll have guidelines in place for quiet time and what is expected of the guests. We want a quiet getaway to share with people. The neighborhood dogs will bark and bears and cougars will walk through the property as per usual, which is happening every night right now. Our goal will be to protect ours and the neighbors' way of life. The goal is to attract a higher end clientele so we don't have vehicles and trailers and trash littering the property. Trespassing of neighboring properties brought up by one of the letters, and I'll talk about that here. When we brought the property 8 years ago, there was a bypass road that went to the northern property. Immediately, we cut this within a week owning the property. So no one would be cutting through our property into the neighboring property. There is currently no trespassing onto our property or off of our property. The log train trail can be accessed at the northern part of Cameron Road, where there is an easement that bypasses current lot 5 on Cameron Road and the panhandle access to the northern property. And there's a trail that you can go up to the log train trail without going through any private property. If you look on the assessment map, it's very easy to see that. We are not catering to people that will be bringing quads, motorbikes, etc. That will be going up and down the roads and looking for opportunities to trespass on neighboring properties. We'll provide maps to everybody coming in and out where they can park and where they can go. Movement within the property will be limited as people will not be hiking past our house either. Long-term plans. One of the letters raised concerns about us selling the property. We've had it for 8 years. We love it out there. We're raising our family there. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. We're not planning on selling or changing anything. We have great neighbors and we love it out there. We will remain approachable to any reasonable concerns from any of our neighbors. Thank you very much. And some are present here.
Great, thank you. And I'll bring it back to Director Chen.
Thank you. We will now hear from members of the public. Please wait until you've been recognized by me and state your name and address before beginning. We will hear everyone wishing to speak for the first time before allowing second comments. Do we have anybody here today that would like to speak?
So Director Chen, we do have 2 members of the public in the boardroom with us as well. And they both said that they're here to listen and hear what's going on. So then we have Shannon Charlesworth online. If she wishes to say anything, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself, Shannon, if you wish to say anything.
Try her. Okay, doesn't look like we have anybody interested in questioning today. Okay, so please be advised that members of the board of directors cannot receive new information related to these bylaws between the end of this hearing and making a final decision on the bylaws. If any board member does so, the hearing could be invalidated and would have to be held again. With that in mind, does anyone have any final comments? I'm assuming there's none in the boardroom. Sorry, I can't see.
Yeah, so there is the 2 members of the public in the boardroom don't wish to add anything to this application. I'm sorry. Yes, we have one person who would. They're just welcome to come up to either the microphones here. Just push the button. Thanks, Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike Steinbach. I live on Bainbridge Road, 7620 Bainbridge. I've known Fred and Carleen for quite some time now, and I trust their judgment on what they want to do here. Fred's very thorough about what he does. I would just say if you have any questions about what he wants to do, you just talk to him, right? And I trust his judgment on what he's doing, and I seen his plan, and so I agree with it. So that's all I really got to say. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does anybody else have any final comments?
So we don't have any other final comments from anyone in the boardroom.
Okay, don't see anything in the chat. Okay, so I will call for the first time for any further representations on the bylaws. Comments? I call for the second time for any further representations on the bylaws. And I call for the third time for any further representations on the bylaws. Okay, hearing no further comments, I declare this, oh, no. Sorry, I heard something. No, okay, I'll start over. Hearing no further comments, I declare this meeting terminated.